What's the real difference between a good piece of writing and a great one? A lot of the time, it's not just about the ideas themselves. It's about the structure, the skeleton that holds everything together. Today, we're going to tear down a surprisingly simple blueprint for building a really powerful, tight, and memorable argument.
Okay, let's get specific. Imagine you have to write the perfect film review. You've got to get your points across, make a strong case, and do it all super quickly. Sounds tough, right? But what if I told you there was a simple, repeatable formula to nail it every time?
Well, the answer, it turns out, is hiding in a place you'd probably never think to look, an exam guide. Seriously, we found this script for reviewing the film Chava, and wow, it's basically a masterclass in clear, impactful communication. So we're going to treat it as our blueprint.
All right, first things first. We need to get why this guide even exists. It's called an exam-ready review, and that purpose is the secret sauce. It's exactly what makes its structure so incredibly sharp and efficient. So let's break it down, step by step.
The source pretty much hands us the key right here. It calls the film review a scoring question. And that phrase, it tells us everything. This isn't just about, sharing your feelings. It's a tool, a machine designed to get maximum points. And that means it has to be crystal clear and super impactful, which makes it the perfect model for us to study.
So where do you even start? Well, like any solid argument, it all begins with a strong foundation. And what this model shows us is that before you say a single thing about your opinion, you have to get everyone on the same page with the basic, non-negotiable facts.
And boom, right away, the review ticks 3 essential boxes. Number 1, the film's name, Chava. 2, the genre, it's historical and biographical. And 3, the subject, the life of Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj. Simple, direct, no confusion. Your audience knows exactly what you're talking about from the get-go.
Okay, so once that foundation is laid, the whole structure shifts gears. It moves from the what of the film to the why it matters. This is where the real analysis kicks in. We're not just talking about plot points anymore. We're digging into what the film is really trying to say, its themes, its core message. Now, instead of some long, boring plot summary, the review cuts right to the chase, right to the film's soul. It pulls out these core themes: courage, sacrifice, the fight for justice, and love for your country. This approach gets you straight to the emotional and philosophical heart of the story.
And here's where it gets really clever. It's a subtle move, but it's super smart. The review doesn't just list a bunch of themes. It actually does 2 separate things. First, it points out themes that are part of the story, like bravery and struggle. But then, it points out the film's direct message to us, the audience: sacrifice, duty, and patriotism. See that? It analyzes the story and its purpose as 2 completely distinct things. Very cool.
All right, so we've covered the story and the message. What's next? Well, the structure takes the most logical step. It moves from the content of the film to its craft. In other words, how well was this thing actually made? This is where we get into the nitty-gritty of the cinematic elements. And look how neatly it's organized. The critique is broken down into these clear, easy-to-digest categories. The acting, it's described as powerful. The music, impressive and emotional. And the direction is called dignified and realistic. By compartmentalizing like this, you get a really balanced and super easy-to-follow assessment of the film's technical side.
Finally, we've arrived at the grand finale, the conclusion. A great ending doesn't just stop. It leaves a lasting impression. And this structure shows us a brilliant 2-part method for a memorable finish. A personal take, followed by a powerful, definitive statement.
Now, pay close attention to the shift in language here, because it's subtle but so powerful. It starts off with a personal opinion, right? Using phrases like, in my opinion, and describing the film as emotionally touching. That's subjective, but then it pivots to a more authoritative voice. To conclude, Chava is a powerful film. It moves from I feel to it is, and that gives the final statement so much more weight.
And here it is, the final punch. This last line isn't just a summary, it's the emotional takeaway. That statement that the film leaves a deep impact and fills us with pride, that's designed to be the very last thing the reader remembers. It's a powerful and resonant final thought.
So at the end of the day, sure, this framework was built to master an exam, but its principles are universal. Start with facts, analyze the message, critique the craft, and conclude with power. So the real question isn't just about film reviews. It's about how you can use this very structure
to make your own arguments, your presentations, and your opinions clearer, more organized, and a whole lot more powerful.